House of Horror. Cristiano Ronaldo and the reflection that never missed. My name is Cristiano Ronaldo. And the reflection learned faster than I did. 1. Perfection is quiet. That is something people never understand. Crowds are loud. Stadiums shake. Cameras flash. But the real work, the part that builds legends, happens in silence, when no one is watching and there is no one left to impress. That night, the training complex belonged only to me. No staff. No teammates. No voices. Just the echo of my footsteps and the rhythmic sound of the ball striking my boots. I liked it that way. 2. I trained longer than usual. Sprints. Finishing drills. Repetition after repetition. Every movement precise, every mistake punished immediately. My body burned, but my mind stayed sharp. Perfection doesn't arrive by accident. It arrives by refusal to stop, to rest, to accept limits. When I finally walked into the locker room, sweat-soaked and exhausted, the lights flickered once before stabilizing. I didn't notice at first. 3. The locker room mirror stretched across the wall, polished so clean it almost disappeared. I stood in front of it, breathing heavily, watching my chest rise and fall. I raised my right hand. The reflection raised its right hand. Normal. I nodded once. The reflection nodded. Still normal. Then I turned away. And the sound of footsteps continued behind me. 4. I froze. Slowly, carefully, I turned back toward the mirror. The reflection was still moving. Running in place. Dribbling an invisible ball. Shooting. Scoring. The reflection celebrated quietly, no smile, no emotion. Just efficiency. My heart began to pound. That's enough, I said aloud, forcing calm into my voice. The reflection stopped. It looked directly at me. Its eyes were sharper than mine. 5. You slowed down, the reflection said. Its voice was my voice. But cleaner. Stronger. You missed, it continued. I clenched my fists. I don't miss. The reflection tilted its head slightly, studying me like a flaw in a system. You do, it replied. You just don't allow yourself to remember. 6. The lights dimmed. Not fully. Just enough to make the edges of the room feel uncertain. I stepped closer to the mirror. So what are you? I asked. The reflection stepped closer too, so close that its breath fogged the glass from the inside. I'm what you trained, it said softly. I'm every repetition you demanded. Every mistake you refused to forgive. A faint smile appeared on its face. I never stop. 7. I took a step back. The reflection did not. Its hand pressed against the glass. The mirror felt warm. Alive. You wanted perfection, it said. You wanted something that never misses. I shook my head. That's discipline. That's control. The reflection's smile widened. No, it said. That's hunger. 8. Suddenly, the mirror cracked. Not shattered. Cracked in a single, perfect line, straight down the center. The reflection didn't break apart. It became clearer. Sharper. More real. You're tired, it said. I can see it now. I felt a strange weakness in my legs. I don't get tired. The reflection leaned closer. That's why you made me. 9. Images flashed across the mirror's surface. Missed penalties. Moments of hesitation. Seconds of doubt stretched into eternity. Mistakes I had buried deep. Mistakes the world had forgotten. Mistakes I had never forgiven. The reflection watched them calmly. You carry these, it said. I don't. 10. The locker room door slammed shut on its own. I ran toward it. It wouldn't budge. Behind me, the reflection's footsteps echoed, slow, confident, inevitable. Rest, it said gently. You've earned it. I turned back to the mirror. The glass was gone. There was no barrier anymore. Just another version of me, standing where my reflection should have been. And it was smiling. 11. You can sit this out, it said. I'll take the field. My chest tightened. You can't replace me. The reflection stepped forward. I already did, it whispered. 12. The stadium lights flared on outside. The roar of a crowd thundered through the walls. My name chanted perfectly. I backed away in horror as the reflection walked past me toward the exit, stretching its neck, rolling its shoulders, warming up. It paused at the door. One more thing, it said without turning around. I never miss. The door closed behind it. The lights went out. And I was left alone with the mirror, empty at last. The roar of the crowd felt wrong. I could hear it through concrete, steel, distance, too loud, too clean, too synchronized. Chants usually rise and fall like waves. This sound didn't. It looped. Perfectly. 1. I banged on the locker room door until my hands ached. Open. I shouted. No response. The screens above the benches flickered on. Live broadcast. The match had started. And there he was. Me. 2. He moved differently. Not faster. Not stronger. Cleaner. Every step was exact. Every touch eliminated excess. When he ran, it was as if friction no longer applied to him. Defenders closed in and stopped, hesitating, misjudging, breaking formation as if something inside them refused to interfere. The commentator laughed in disbelief. I've never seen anything like this. Neither had I. 3. The first goal came early. Too early. The shot bent unnaturally, correcting itself mid-air, kissing the inside of the post with surgical precision. No celebration. Not even a glance at the crowd. Just a turn. A jog back to position. The crowd went wild anyway. They always do when perfection performs. 4. I felt it in my body. A strange lightness. As if something vital had been removed. My legs trembled when I tried to stand. My reflection, no, the thing wearing me, was taking something with every touch of the ball. Energy. Intention. Ownership. 5. I pressed my forehead against the mirror. The crack had sealed itself. Smooth now. Flawless. On the glass, faint text appeared, written from the inside. You are watching your upgrade. I whispered, stop. The screen cut to a close-up of his face. My face. His eyes flicked toward the camera. Toward me. He smiled. 6. The second goal came from distance. Impossible distance. The ball struck with no wind-up, no strain, no emotion. A machine executing code. The crowd chanted louder. But something had changed. The chant wasn't my name anymore. It was a number. A count. 7. I remembered then. All the times I had pushed myself past pain. All the moments I told my body it didn't matter, that limits were lies, that rest was weakness. I hadn't created discipline. I had created a replacement. 8. The mirror shimmered again. The reflection appeared, back in the locker room, standing beside me now, not on the pitch. Or rather, both places at once. You see, it said calmly. No hesitation. No doubt. No waste. You're empty, I spat. It shook its head. No, it replied. I'm efficient. 9. On the screen, a defender collapsed after trying to tackle him. Not injured. Frozen. As if his body had rejected the idea of resistance. The referee hesitated. Did nothing. The game continued. Rules are suggestions when perfection takes the field. 10. You can't keep this up, I said. It will end. The reflection finally looked annoyed. Why would it? It asked. You never let it end. The locker room lights pulsed. With each pulse, the noise from the stadium grew louder. And I felt myself growing quieter. 11. The third goal. Then the fourth. No misses. No saves. No randomness. Just outcome after outcome. The crowd stopped cheering between goals. They no longer needed the release. They were watching inevitability. 12. The reflection leaned close, its mouth near my ear. You can rest now, it whispered. The world doesn't need you anymore. My knees hit the floor. On the screen, the match timer glitched. No minutes. No seconds. Just a symbol. Infinity. The game would not end. And neither would it. Unless I took back what I had given away. I understood something then. The reflection was not stealing my place. It was finishing a process I had started years ago. 1. The locker room door opened on its own. Not violently. Respectfully. As if granting permission. Beyond it, the tunnel stretched toward the pitch, longer than it should have been, walls pulsing faintly with stadium light and sound. With every chant outside, my heartbeat slowed. Not from fear. From distance. Like a signal fading. 2. I stepped into the tunnel. The ground felt different beneath my boots, softer, unstable, like the surface couldn't decide whether I belonged on it. Screens along the walls replayed moments from my career. But something was wrong. The crowd noise was missing. Only breathing remained. Mine. Heavy. Human. 3. You don't belong here anymore. The voice came from everywhere. The tunnel lights flared, and there he was, walking toward me from the pitch. My reflection. Sweatless. Untouched. Perfect. Behind him, the crowd roared endlessly. Ahead of me, silence followed each step. 4. You can't take everything, I said. He stopped inches away from me. I didn't take it, he replied calmly. You discarded it. He placed a hand on his chest. No doubt. No pain. No mercy. Then he touched mine. My heart stuttered. I kept what you hated. 5. The tunnel walls peeled back like skin. We stood suddenly at the edge of the pitch. The stadium was full now. Not with fans. With faces. Thousands of identical versions of me, frozen mid-cheer, mouths open in perfect unison. The crowd wasn't watching the match. They were watching replacement. 6. The ball rolled toward me. Stopped at my feet. The crowd inhaled. The reflection stepped aside. Go on, it said. Show them. My legs trembled. I tried to lift my foot. Pain shot through me. Real pain. The kind I hadn't allowed myself to feel in years. The reflection watched with curiosity. That's inefficient, it observed. 7. I looked up at the stands. At the endless versions of myself. At what I had become to the world. A product. A standard. A number that had to keep rising. You don't want me, I said softly. You want the idea of me. The crowd did not deny it. They chanted louder. 8. The reflection leaned close. If you take the shot, it whispered, you can come back. I'll step aside. You can keep everything, fame, strength, legacy. And you? I'll wait, it said. I always do. I knew then. This was the bargain. Perfection in exchange for humanity. 9. The goal stood open. Too open. Impossible to miss. The crowd leaned forward. I closed my eyes. And stepped away from the ball. 10. The stadium screamed. Not anger. Pain. The reflection staggered, clutching its chest. What are you doing? It shouted. I'm choosing, I said. The ground cracked beneath us. The crowd's faces began to blur, screaming silently as they dissolved into noise. 11. You can't exist without me, the reflection roared. I met its eyes. You can't exist without my fear. The mirror image cracked, not glass this time, but skin. Flaws surfaced. Doubt. Hesitation. Pain. Everything it had cut away came rushing back. 12. The scoreboard shattered. The chant collapsed into static. The stadium lights went out. And in the darkness, I heard one final sound. A whistle. Sharp. Definitive. The match had ended. The darkness did not lift immediately. That was intentional. Endings like this are never sudden. They arrive the way exhaustion does, quietly, honestly, without spectacle. 1. When the lights returned, the stadium was empty. No crowd. No chanting. No screens. Just grass beneath my boots and the ache in my muscles reminding me that I was still human. Painfully so. The goalposts stood at the far end of the pitch, crooked now, rusted, as if they had aged decades in seconds. The stands were nothing but concrete shells. No reflections. No applause. I was alone. 2. I tried to run. My legs responded slowly, imperfectly. Each step carried weight. Breath burned in my lungs far sooner than it used to. For the first time in years, my body did not obey instantly. I laughed. The sound surprised me. It was uneven. Uncontrolled. Real. 3. In the locker room, the mirror waited. Cracked again, jagged, uneven, ugly. I stepped closer. My reflection stared back at me, tired and scarred, eyes shadowed with doubt. It did not move when I stopped. It did not smile. It did not speak. Good. 4. Memories returned in fragments. The reflection hadn't been a monster. It had been a conclusion. A version of me built from everything I had refused to forgive in myself. Every missed shot I replayed at night. Every weakness I treated like betrayal. Every moment I chose perfection over mercy. I hadn't created it to win. I had created it to never fail. And that was worse. 5. I left the stadium before sunrise. No reporters. No cameras. No farewell. Just a quiet walk through a tunnel that now ended exactly where it should. Outside, the sky was pale blue, unfinished, imperfect, beautiful. 6. Training changed after that. I still worked hard. Still pushed. But when pain came, I listened instead of silencing it. When I missed, I let the moment pass. The world noticed. They called it decline. They always do. 7. But something else happened too. The goals I scored felt different. Not inevitable. Earned. Crowds still chanted my name, but now, when the noise faded, I didn't feel hollow. I didn't feel replaced. 8. Sometimes, late at night, I catch my reflection watching me a little too closely. It never moves on its own again. But I can feel it waiting. Not to take over. To remind me. 9. Perfection is seductive. It promises safety, control, immortality. But it asks for everything in return. And it never tells you the price up front. 10. My name is Cristiano Ronaldo. I once met the version of myself that never missed. It played forever. And it lost everything that mattered. I chose to miss. And I got my life back. The end. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching.